Most traditional African societies are known to be quite spiritual. Spirituality seemed to be at the core of their everyday lives. Throughout African history, we can find, mostly through oral tradition, the existence of prophets, both men and women, who are said to have predicted the future. So today, I wanted to speak about a popular prophetess of Kenya who's said to have predicted one of the most recognizable events in Kenya's history. What up, African world? It's Homesy Mayor, and welcome back to another video of African history, culture, and worldview. By supporting this channel on Patreon, you're helping in the creation of these videos and contributing to this content. On Patreon, you can find more in-depth courses on African history. Also, your support helps the channel grow, improving production quality and future animated projects. And with a word from my sponsors, there's a new social media platform dedicated to educating and uplifting our people. No longer do we have to be censored for speaking our truth. OBT Social is Black owned and operated, and a place where you can post your businesses and even monetize your content. You can visit the website at obtsocial.com. Links to everything in the description box below. To begin, oftentimes it can be difficult to measure events in history that are deemed by many to be spiritual in nature. That being said, this video is intended to document the oral tradition from Kenya that speaks unassailably about the accurate prophetic vision of a popular prophetess. Thus, the foundation of this video is grounded in oral history. It's not intended to plaudit African spirituality or to deny its effectiveness. Moreover, even though the predictions of this prophetess can be interpreted as a prediction of colonization, the most reasonable valuation is that it foretold the arrival of the British in general. Let's begin. Before we speak about the prophetess, we must first understand a little about her people, the Kamba. The people who call themselves Kamba have occupied the hills and plains of Ukambani in southeast Nairobi since the 17th century. According to one source, there are competing origin stories concerning the Kamba people. One tradition states that they migrated from Kilimanjaro, and another claims origins further north. It doesn't necessarily mean one is right and another is wrong. It could simply mean that as the Kamba were migrating, they mixed and mingled with other ethnic groups and adopted other oral traditions. Despite this perspective, ultimately we can't know for sure. However, what we do know is that the Kamba are very spiritual people. Oral tradition and other documentation affirm the foundation of spirituality and the supernatural in Kamba culture. Prophets were called Ethani in the Kikamba language, and they were highly regarded in that society. This Kamba region was among the first to feel British presence in the 1890s, and according to oral tradition, their arrival was predicted by a prophetess named Soikamau. Oral histories have consistently asserted that the advent of the Imperial British East Africa Company and of colonialism more generally did not come as a complete surprise to Kamba people. Prophets or seers termed Athani in Kikamba, esteemed ritual specialists who could prophesy the future, were enmeshed in their earliest colonial histories of the region. The most renowned Kamba prophet, Soikamau, is widely regarded as having foretold during the late 19th century that people with skins like raw meat would arrive in Ukambani via a long, narrow snake that would move from the coast toward the setting sun. Or, as an elderly Kamba man explained more directly in 2004, she predicted about the railroad line and the white people. Soikamau, although the most revered, was by no means the only prophet or prophetess in Kenya. Before the arrival of the British, a Turkana diviner said, "I have seen a great vulture coming down from the sky and scooping up the land of Turkana in its talons." Interestingly enough, there were a number of Meru prophets from the 1860s that spoke about a snake vision similar to Soikamau. A number of Meru prophets from the 1860s on also foretold the long snake in whose service warriors would dig like women. The documentation of these visions are no doubt interesting, whether we believe in its legitimacy or not. Now, of course, the popularity of Soy Kamau was not solely grounded in her prediction of British arrival and the railroad, but her previous visions. The Prophet helped the Akamba spies during the days of cattle raiding with the neighboring Maasai and Gikiyu. Before the Akamba spies left their territory, they consulted with the Prophet for advice. As we can see, Soy Kamau had an extensive track record that was trusted. Later, her reputation grew to such an extent that a main road in Machakos town was named after her. Soy Kamau also predicted that the so-called raw meat people would be carrying fire in their pockets, which was later interpreted to be matchboxes. This kind of history is underserved, perhaps because it's kind of difficult to comprehend. Interestingly enough, East Africa has had several prophets who predicted what would happen when Europeans arrived. However you'd like to interpret this information, the truth is, Soy Kamau and many others were seemingly pulling from the same source, whether that source was spiritual or intellectual. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to help in its continued production, consider supporting the home team on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.